One of those nights where you binge on a Netflix series for 8 hours straight, wake up the next morning like a zombie, and literally want to do nothing that you had planned for the day. Or maybe it's one of those days at work where time is seemingly standing still and you're staring at the clock, praying for it to be 5 o'clock. I've been there, I know the struggle. People today suffer from a serious lack of motivation. Inspiring people out there, doing some awesome things, inspiring people when you least expect it. Everyone's seen these guys on social media, giving out free hugs in the middle of New York City in the stressed out, fast-paced streets. Or maybe you've been walking through the park taking a stroll and you saw a random bouquet of flowers for anyone to take and enjoy, randomly and just because. So I was really inspired by this trend of inspiration when you least expect it. And I started writing inspirational quotes on Post-it notes and sticking them everywhere. And I literally mean everywhere. All over my gym, my college campus is covered. Put some around Farmingdale actually this morning. And and I had my friends doing the same thing until people eventually started asking me, where can I buy these? Well, being the quintessential entrepreneurial business student that I am, I saw a trend, an opportunity in this idea of random inspiration when you least expect it, sharing love, paying it forward, and whatnot. So I wanted to monetize this trend and make a difference at the same time. With that said, my name is Michael Russo. I'm the inventor of sticky quotes, and I've made joining this motivational mission as easy as peel, stick, and inspire. Sticky quotes currently come in a pad of 50 unique inspirational quotes printed onto everyone's favorite office staple, the Post-it note. With quotes like "Be who you are" and "The best way to predict the future is to create it," I'm giving people inspiration that sticks, literally, and I'm not a big fan of puns either. So for 7 months, from August of 2014 to February 27th of this year, I was making these in my kitchen and in my dorm room, using my own printer, designing them, until the process just became too inefficient, too time-consuming, and not to mention my mother. My mother couldn't open a drawer without even finding a sticky note. It was stressing everyone out, myself included. So I went on a search to find a printer who can do this, print variable sheet Post-it notes. And most people think it sounds easy. I thought it was easy too. It was a really difficult process. There's only 2 to 3 printers in the whole country who have the technology to produce variable sheet notes. It's a really hard job to do. It requires large minimum quantity runs, and it's only cost effective at large runs. So that's why I have like 3,000 of these pads sitting in my house all over the place, like I said before. But before I tell you about the success and what I've been doing to promote this business, I want to talk to you a little bit about the economics. For $1.16, I make one of these packs, cellophane wrapped and all, ready to go. I wholesale them to the stores at $2.50, and there's a classic Keystone markup for a retail price of $5. Now, since we have such healthy margins for retail, we want to pursue an e-commerce strategy in the future, but for right now, I've literally been pounding the pavement, going from store to store. I started out in my hometown of East Islip, and I experienced immediate success in selling to a retail gift boutique, a really nice store. Then I hit the road. I got in another store, and another store, and another store, and another store, and another store. So I was in 6 stores. And actually, while I was in one of these stores, my last week, I ran into a sales rep who represents a huge marketing company that has a showroom with over 300 stores that shop there, specifically in the gift industry, which I consider myself to be in. And she offered to represent my product for free just because she's so inspired by my story, the product, and this whole pay it forward movement that I've seen to be a trend. But besides loving my story and loving the product, retailers have especially loved this beautiful display stand I made, burnt wood style. I did it I produced it with a few buddies over at Long Island Makerspace in Plainview, New York. And in 4 out of the 6 retail stores I'm in, this is right up on the counter because they said it was so attractive, and the convenience of the size being right on the counter, it's an impulse buy, and they felt it needed to be there. So, for the 7 months I was making these in my home, as I showed you the pictures before, I only did $1,100 in sales. And that was in 7 months, just word of mouth marketing, some social media marketing. But in the 1 month exactly to yesterday, I've done $1,250 in sales. That's a 625% increase from the month of February, where I only did 200 in sales. We were slowing down at that point, but we really picked back up pace, and I'm really excited. Especially for our next run of production, This production run, our first one, we printed 3,000 pads at the 116 price point I mentioned before. But our next run, we plan to run 10,000 of these guys. And our costs are going to go down 22% to 90 cents a pad. And that's going to increase our profit margins by 19%. We want to completely just continue to reinvest all the money as we've been doing. We want to focus on a few marketing strategies, specifically e-commerce, like I said before. We want to enhance our Shopify store, but our website is mystickyquotes.com. We have a presence on Etsy. We want to enhance that and have a stronger sense of what that market's like. And we want to continue to bang on social media. We have about 5,000 followers on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, and we're really doing well in that space. And I want to employ some guerrilla marketing tactics. I want to literally I want to have college campus reps at every campus with pads of these that I send them, sticking them everywhere just to get the message out. And we also want to go to major cities, high visibility places like maybe Times Square, and cover the area in Post-it notes to gain some more exposure. To piggyback off what we've been doing with the marketing, I want to talk a little bit about how we've been doing with PR. I wrote up an article about what I've been doing, sent it to every local and national news station you could imagine. And the Rockville Center-Herald actually picked up my story. They published an article on us in their last paper, and we were also featured on their website. Verizon Fios also saw the story. They have a show called Money in Main Street where they interview CEOs of companies and whatnot. And they followed me from store to store, viewing what it's like to be a young entrepreneur. And they interviewed me all about my product and my story. And I also reached out to Oprah Winfrey and Ellen DeGeneres in hopes of some national news coverage, which obviously wouldn't be too bad. So besides this traditional business model, just selling the store, selling the consumer on our website, we have an idea that we have tried out and it's been successful. We want to work with impactful charity groups because the nature of our product is very motivational. So most of these fundraisers, charity events, are working for a cause. And we believe it's a great idea to give our pads to these organizations at wholesale cost and have them resell it at retail as if they were just a normal store. And another idea we have, which we have done also, is we just went and set up shop at these charity events, and we sold how many pads we sold, and we gave a portion back to the charity we're working with, or club in this case. So I tested this model out at Malloy College recently with the Entrepreneurship Club. And we sold about 85 of these pads in 8 hours. That's $53 an hour versus the traditional bake sale where maybe you sell a few cupcakes and you're left over with a bunch of burnt, unappetizing cupcakes, and maybe you don't reach your fundraising goal. I've had experience with fundraisers and fundraisers of that nature, and they didn't go too well particularly. To go on this idea of having a table, we have all the necessary presentation materials to go present at one of these national trade shows. Specifically, what I have in mind is the National Stationery Show, which is at the Javits Center in May. It costs about $5,000 to go there, but that's our target to get there. We can gain some huge exposure. Buyers there like Hallmark and other huge target market stores for us. We really want to end up there. Besides having just our one line of motivational quotes, which I have here, give you guys some samples, we want to expand into love quotes, happiness quotes, success quotes, seasonal theme quotes, and whatnot. And what I'm most excited about is the opportunity for sticky quotes to be a promotional product for businesses to get their message across. I work with two companies here, Tailored Avenue, it's a fashion blog. My friend started a company, it's a really awesome product. And I work with Virtual Enterprise International. I actually gave my product out as a gift at an event we had at Farmingdale just a few months ago. It went really well. And the companies tell me they love the idea of having their message marketed on a sticky quote. It's a very innovative and effective, engaging strategy to connect with their consumers. Now, obviously, I had to end this presentation with a quote. That's what I'm all about. Change your thoughts and you can change your world. At Sticky Quotes, we're striving to turn this simple trend or fad of doing right and inspiring people when you least expect it into a way of life with the motivation movement. We figure why only be inspiring and generous a few days out of the year when you can do this every day and make this a part of your life with Sticky Quotes. My name is Mike Russo, this is Sticky Quotes, and I'm asking you judges to join the motivation movement with me.